Yeah, we can start now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining the session. I would like to thank SUG Pune for giving me this opportunity, Vinod and Rohan for giving me the opportunity for presenting a session uh, today evening. Today we're gonna discuss about the topic unlocking the magic with Leprechaun code generation. So this is one we're gonna discuss on this. Yeah. Coming to my introduction, my name is Sudheer Kumar Suggu. I'm having total 13 years of experience, close to 14. I'm currently working with Kimberly Clark. I'm having total 8 years of experience with Sitecore. I'm Sitecore certified. And if anyone wanted to get connected, just here is my LinkedIn URL. And in this my blog, I have actually posting some of my technical articles. You can just refer. All this Leprechaun and all this will already be present in that. In case if anyone wanted to configure, you can refer that blog. Okay. As a because Leprechaun is actually little tied up with the CLI. So having a knowledge of Sitecore CLI would help even for integration or to implement this Leprechaun. So already I have given a session with SUG Pune previously, so you can refer this video link if in case someone wanted to integrate CLI, because CLI with Leprechaun is a good combination of making this model generation quick and good. So here is the link in case if one wanted to refer while implementing the Leprechaun along with CLI, you can just refer these links. Moving ahead. So before starting Leprechaun, why we have to use the Leprechaun? So don't we have any other tools? Yes, we have many things, but when you compare it, like if you use Rainbow or TDS, now we have the CLA. So for Rainbow and all, like for Unicorn and all, we used to use a code generation that we manually written, where we write each and every model with properties. But whereas with TDS, it will also sync the content, and we also TDS will help in generating the model. But the problem with the TDS is actually a paid license, and TDS will also help us in syncing and model generation. But only the problem with that is actually the license, as I said. But here with the combination of CLI and Leprechaun, we can have the same functionality of the TDS, and here we don't have any licensing cost. So with this combination of CLI and Leprechaun, we can able to sync the content, and we can also generate the model for our projects. Okay, so that is the main advantage of having the Leprechaun to our projects. Uh, so let's get deep dive into it. So basically, what is Leprechaun? Leprechaun actually, which is actually used for the code generation framework. So we have a sitecode template. So usually for what we do a models for the sitecode templates. So for that sitecode templates, we will be able to generate our models. So that can be used for our ORM, for the object reading and all that we do, right? So the same thing which we does with the Leprechaun as well. And it is an open source, and it's actually we can use with the help of Rainbow also it is supported, but yeah, but Sitecore CLI is actually more used for this, uh, but for Rainbow also we can still use it, but we can do such different configuration. But our focus of this session is all about using Sitecore with Leprechaun. So for TDS, we use a T4 template. So similarly, we also have a separate template that we will be having it for the model generation for our creation of that models, and we also easily generate the model. And for the generation of the model, we don't need any Visual Studio. With the click of one command, we can able to generate our models. So it is so quick and easy. Coming to the features, it is more flexible, because because it actually uses C script file for the generation of that templates, and which is very simple, and it is easy for us to make any changes, to make any kind of custom changes. That it is very easy. You can also add this model generation. uh, there are multiple ways of model generation, like after implementation of code we can also do, or on the build time also. I mean, build time also we can do it, but I recommend using it in the development level, not in the build level, because once it is generated is sufficient. There is no need to run on every build time. If you still want, you can still generate it, but I don't recommend it, because generating a model is a one-time activity, and then get the check-ins. That would be sufficient here. And this is Helix friendly. Our most of our Sitecore projects are actually Helix based projects. So incompatible with our helix based structure. So before we start, like how to get started, so first of all, what we have to do, as I said, this is completely a command. So how to install is that we have to run this .NET new tool manifest file. Uh, so what it does basically, it will try to create a file, okay, .NET tools JSON file, and with this information, with the version and all. But if you already having the CLI installed in your system, there is no need to install this command. If you already have this command, like if you're using it for any other, you can just run this. So what basically it does, it will try to create a config file here, and this is the file it will get created with the information here. Okay. So basically this is the one it will create, but rest will be coming. Suppose for the Sitecore CLI, this is what it will does. And for the Leprechaun, it will be done this. So for this Leprechaun to install, we have to run this command. .NET will install this one. If you wanted to explicitly mention any version, we can use it. So if you are not specifying any version, it will download the latest version. Otherwise, if you are looking for, because some of the projects don't want to go to higher version, if you they want specific to specific version, you can use this command. So I have actually used this command. So you use this. In this file, you will mention what are the version that we use here. For CLI, we are using this. For Leprechaun, we are actually using this version. So this contains this basically this file contains all the information, the version that we are actually using for the Leprechaun and for the CLI. So basically, this is what this file contains. And so once we are done with that, so what we have to do, we have a some files which we need to pull it from the Git repo. Basically, this, as I said, this is a open source tool. This is a Blipson is the guy who actually made this framework. So it actually uploaded all the versions and everything will be present here. So here we will be pulling this file, the leprechaun.config file, where we have all the configurations that is specific to that leprechaun code generation. And once we have this leprechaun file, we have to have it in our solution here. So we will be having it in leprechaun.config. So this is what the file look like basically, this have all the configurations and everything like this. So we will be adding it in our configuration files. And then what we will do, we also have this file which I showed right now, it is only for the configuration for Leprechaun, but we have to generate a model, right? So we have a templates for like how we have for TDS, we have a T4 template. So we have a different type of templates here, where we actually using currently for the glass mapper. We have a different type like synthesis, like JSS related thing. If you wanted to use, we can use this. But yeah, our ORM, what we are actually trying to use in this case is actually glass mapper. So we actually use this. We have to download this file, and we will be adding it in here. To see here, these files which we get downloaded. Is it mandated to have all the files? No, we are actually using only glass mapper. We can only have glass mapper. I just have this for references, but yeah, only glass mapper file is sufficient. Rest of the files we don't need to have it. And if you look at the folder structure of this, so this is my source project, and in this I have the Leprechaun folder on my root folder, and I have the Leprechaun folder here, and then I have placed this here. You can name anything here, so there is no need to have the same thing. You can have just code generation, whatever it is. I just named it as Leprechaun. It's what are the folder name that you wanted to. It's up to you, your wish. Okay, and all these files, what we have done, like this Leprechaun, and this file need to be check in for others in the team wanted to use it, right? So they can you can check in this file so that other members in the team can leverage these files. Okay, so now coming to this configurations, what we have to do as part of the configuration of the Leprechaun file. So here, this is my Leprechaun file. So if you look at this, I'll compare it with my, so this one, what you have seen in my, right hand side, actually what I have configured. The left hand side, what we got it on the as a default thing. So here I have made the base project. So I'm actually using the foundation.orm as my base project, because here in this project I'm maintaining all the glassmap related configuration that we will discuss in detail moving further. And here code generator. So what are the template that we wanted to use here? They are actually in the default one. They're actually using synthesis, habitat, and diagnostic. Some three different template they're actually using. But in our case, I only wanted to use a class mapper. I don't want to use other things. So this is a config folder which is nothing but our root path, and this is a folder name that I created, and this is my class mapper. So if you see here that Leprechaun, this is my folder name, and this is my class mapper. So this is what you have to mention here. And output file. What is output file? So based on this template that what we are actually using, the code generation template, and where we wanted to generate our model. So we have a different projects, right? We don't have, because when we're working with Helix, we will have multiple projects. So having a multiple projects, we should always have our wildcard. We can say wildcard, right? So we can't have hard code the path. So for that, we will be mentioning that path here. Like if you see here, this is my source path, source folder, and this is the folder that I gave names that I will speak little further. So this is the code and this is my model. So if you look at this model, so sorry. So in this path, so this is my source folder, and this is my feature, navigation, code, and model. So this is how the Helix things we will have, right? So in this folder, I wanted to generate my CS file. So that is the reason I actually made this folder. So this module name, that, and I'll tell how we will give and how these values will be read, that we will be covering a little bit. So this is the namespace. So for everything, we will have a different namespace, right? For our sorry. So this is the namespace what we have, like Sitecore, that layer is nothing but a feature foundation, and this module is nothing but like feature whatever we have. This is the name. Suppose if you look at the navigation model, so this is my name of my model name. So we always have a namespace, right? So this also need to be generated dynamically. So for that purpose, we will be having this way of uh, wildcard. This these values will be pre-filled. Okay. I'll show where these values will be read and all, will show. So this we will also cover this, why we have this configuration all, we'll be covering a little bit further. Uh, so basically for what we generate a template. So we generate a template, sorry, for what we generate a model, we usually generate templates for our models. Sorry, for the templates. So if you look at here, so this is a CLI file. Um, if you guys are familiar, so whenever we wanted to serialize, so basically I'll just cover a little bit about Sitecore CLI. Sitecore CLI is nothing but like where we actually basically it will try to convert our packages into Sitecore items are there, right? So we are converting into physical file in a YAML format. So these files can be used for the model generations. So for this CLI to know which and all fields need to be done, like which and all root folder need to be done. So this is where it will help us in serializing the content. So if you give the template and then we give this path, so it means any item under Sitecore template feature navigation need to be serialized. So if you look at the Sitecore, so it means any items under this folder, navigation folder, will be converted into a serialization, and based on that it will convert use as for our model generation. So once we are done with this, so what would happen, this all these files which we said will be present in this. So this is, as I said, that CLI uses YAML conversion, so we have to use this. So that's why I said, it is more tie up with the CLI. So we have to make our serialization. So what Leprechaun does, based on the serialization file only, it will try to generate our model. So for that, what we will be doing it here, so we give the template here. What does that mean? So what and all the field that we need to generate as considered for a model generation. Suppose if you see here, we have a different names, template, branch template, renderings and all. Usually we don't generate model for our renderings or placeholder or whatever branch templates and all, right? We usually generate for the templates. So that is the reason we have to include templates. If anything, which you see in a module file with template, consider only that for our model generation, not for anything else. Sometimes we have a content hub, sometimes we have different templates also. We can also still mention that. So that is the reason it is always advised to have a templates as a default name for all our CLI projects. Suppose if you look at here, So here I have this is a for separate project. I also have mentioned this as a template. Why we have mentioned so that if we give it different names, we have to keep appending all these multiple names here. So that is the reason to avoid that, to make it consistent and standardized. So we will be making the template. So anything which with template, consider it for our model generation. So that is very important, when we are actually making this configuration. And sometimes what we do, we will maintain an interface folders, right? So in interface folders, we will be starting with underscore uh, templates. So for suppose if you're having 3 or 4 templates and we wanted to combine them together, we will maintain interface templates. So for that, whenever we're generating a model, we will maintain with underscore. So in that case, if you wanted to maintain that underscore in our model, you can just make it true. Otherwise, it would truncate that underscores actually here. So this is all about conversion of uh, the configuration of this particular file. So this is what I mentioned here, like what are the we changed. So I have actually mentioned this in detail. Um, so as I said right earlier, like these values which we said, which will be get pre-filled dynamically, right, in the Leprechaun file. You see this layer and all. So how this is getting filled? So for that, what we are trying to do, so this is our modules.json file. So in this, we will be adding a separate section for Leprechaun, which have that information, what is my layer and what is my model. If you see what is this feature is nothing but my layer, and navigation is nothing but my module. And this is my extent. So this is, you have to take this as a base class, sorry, base project for generating a model for this project. So that is what we are telling in this configuration. So let's look at this. So this is what we are already saying this, right? So this is my navigation. So whenever you kept it here in this particular module, then only it will consider for the model generation. Suppose if you look at here, I have not added any Leprechaun. Sorry, here I have added. Suppose if I have this file, I have not added here. Also have added, sorry, check here. So if it is not added, it means it won't consider it. So whenever you add it in that project only, it will basically consider for the model generation. It means whenever it is finding this one, it means for this project I have to generate a model. So this is what the feature, which is nothing but my layer, and this is what my module. So that is what we see here. Let's look at this one. So in this folder, this layer and modules will be pre-filled based on the value that we provided in this name. So that's why it is very important to have a same naming, because sometimes because our model also will be see if you see here at feature navigation, this project is navigation, this is also navigation at model. So this is basically how we Helix projects will usually maintain. So based on that only we have to maintain this, so that it will be maintained consistent across all the projects. So considering this only, we will be able to generate our model for our templates. Moving further, so once we have done with all the setup configurations and everything now, so using this command .NET Leprechaun leprechaun.config, what is that we are actually saying to refer this particular file for our Leprechaun model generation. So whenever you run this command, it will read the configurations in this, okay, and then it will try to read the here all the configurations, and it will try to generate based on the output path, and it will generate a model for us. Okay, so this is very important. So this is whatever I said, it is only one time setup. So whenever we are working for the next time, running of single command is sufficient for us to execute or generate any models further for our development work, that we will see how we can work in a demo. So now we have set up in one server, so one machine. So if we wanted to collaborate, like extend to our all project team members, in that case what we have to do, as I said, these configuration files need to be checked in this under what are the files under Leprechaun, and this configuration that is sufficient. And other that .NET tool which I said, right, this configuration, that is sufficient. So once we have these files checked in the other developer who actually wanted the Leprechaun to be work, so just need to run this command. So what it does, it will try to restore everything that is specific to uh, Leprechaun. based on the version. So basically what it basically contains, so this, it will try to read these files and it will try to see the version and it will try to restore that version in that, but in the respective server in systems. Okay, so that's all on the configuration setup and how other team members can able to have this in their setup in their local. So with this we will be complete with the installation process of the Leprechaun. Okay, now as I said, right, we are actually using this Leprechaun for a model generation. So sometimes what we have to do, suppose if you have a fields like for string and for a single line list, multi-line list and rich text fields, we will have a string as a return type, right? Public virtual string, whatever it is, and then field name. But there are in terms of like drop link and multi-link and drop tree, where in which whenever we are generating it, it will generate with a GUID ID. Which we see here, but sometimes we don't want to have a GUID ID. We wanted to have a return type as a different data type. That is also still possible, and we can able to customize it with the Leprechaun. So it is easily configured and it is easily set up. For our that customization is still available with us using this small changes to the Leprechaun and Glassmapper files actually. Okay, let's see the demo, how we can work, and maybe once after the demo, it is much more clearer. So if you look at here, I have a template project here, in navigation. So I have a feature. Before that, I will show what exactly that model is currently like it. Okay, so currently, if you look at here, so this is my model, which is generated using Leprechaun. So you look at here, see this is how my each and every model. So this is how the regular model that we generate, that is no specific, but here you see that is having a specific version, which version that we are actually using it. So what I do, now I delete this file. Okay. Uh, so or else I'll just rename it to one. Okay, and let me reload this. So this file is got deleted from the solution folder and we don't have this one. So what I do, I'll just run this command again. So let's see what would happen. So as it is not finding that model in that project, it will try to create a model here again. If you see, so new model got generated with the current 423 the time right now. So it got generated new model. Okay, and then just refresh this. So this has come. So how it is generating, as I said, right, this is my path. So this is how it generated based on this path what we gave. It has read this file, and this it is on the output file, it actually generated with the name that it is given. So that name where we are giving from the feature navigation. So based on this, it is trying to generate a model here. Okay, now we have a model. So now what I'm actually, so in this, suppose if you see, I have a footer. Let's check the footer. This is my footer project. Sorry, footer template. I have a copyright temp. All these fields I have like 1, 2, 3. A few fields I have. So these fields which you're seeing here, so those fields are already presenting here. So all the 5 fields are there. So you see all the 5 fields are present here. Now what I do, I'll just add one more section here, like demo section. Demo text field, demo title. I'll just, I just gave a single line text and this text here. So as I said, we have to, it is tied up with this one. So it will based on the Sitecore CLI project. So what I do, I run the command for the Sitecore CLI. What it does, it will try to sync the item, because if you see, it has created a new items in my folder here. So it actually created demo section, and in the demo section, it created 2 fields. So I have the fields ready. So what I did, I actually running the command, which I said that this is a command which we have to use. So okay, this is generated successfully. If you look at here, I have a demo description and demo field. Okay, this is got generated here. The same thing for the constants also, demo description, and this one is generated. And also for the footer, we have that this also it got generated demo field and demo description. So this is how basically we have to do it. Suppose I have the existing field, I wanted to update. So I make it 123 just for make it for this, I guess, make it as a demo. And I say, so this is what I'm doing. I'm actually updating existing fields. Always you need to pull the changes because Leprechaun reads the YAML file for the model generation. So now when we are updating it, if you see this become 123 and footer group, they actually make it to demo here. So this is how we basically update the content here. So how it is generating basically, let's look at the ORM project. So basically it is using the glass mapper, right? So if you look at my project, I don't have anything related to glass mapper at all here. Even if you see the project references, even in the configuration files, nowhere I actually have the glass map related NuGet references here. So whatever I have, it is everything present in my ORM project. If you look at here, I have actually just installed the Glassmapper ORMs, so which actually creates everything. So there is nothing I have to do here. All the abstract everything file that is being created by the Glassmapper configuration file. Whatever I did is just the glass and eyeglass. So how this need will be done? So whenever you're generating any kind of model, it is referenced to the eyeglass. So ideally, whenever you're doing it, it will generate it on every model. So what I have done, I don't want to have that redundant glass map properties on each and every model. So I have moved those files into this ORM project, and I am making this as a reference. How am I making it as a reference? I'm adding a using class here, so that we don't have this reference, and we don't need to think about it what to write in this. It will generated by the Leprechaun only. What on all the glass map related fields will be there, and we just need to move those glass map related into the these files. That is sufficient. No, there is no other things that we need to do it here apart from that. Here we actually using only the one that we actually making a ORM reference. This is here you see, I just had this base project as my reference. That is the only thing that I have done. So all the anything related to the ORM, that is maintained only in the foundation project. And coming here, so this is how based on that it is forming. So how it is getting created? So if you look at this glass mapper, so using this one, it is trying to create the model generation. So what this glass mapper template is having it is having what are the default using that we wanted to have, and if you don't wanted to include anything from the, if you want to exclude from the code coverage and things like that, you can have it. What is the name that you wanted to have? So those kind of information, what is the data type that you have, we will be having it here. Let's compare it with what we have and what I have set up. So compared to the default file, I have actually done some changes where I'm actually using this actually default, like I'm actually adding the reference because I don't want to generate, as I said, I don't want to generate class related properties every time. So actually, so I have actually made this as my default project, and here I, instead of one line of some comments, I wanted to have a 3 lines of comments because I am actually replicating my existing where I moved my existing project into this one. So I don't want to much changes to my model projects, model class files. So I wanted to make it as it is. So that is the reason I have made uh, this glass mapper template file according to the what we have existing according to the T4 template. So we have actually moved from TDS to Leprechaun. So I have to match few of the things to in line with what we have with the existing model, because whenever we are migrating our existing projects, right, we have to ensure nothing should impact. It should be in line. So based on that, I have actually made all the related changes according to that, and it is more flexible. It is not like what we have we can use, but we can customize the template what based on that what we have. This is where I have the template name. So this is what I, as per T4 template, I have this. So I have added everything, and so for the constants, they're actually using the code name, but I don't want the code name. I wanted to use the item name, sorry, field name. So that is the reason I actually updated it. So if you look at the model navigation, like, so here, this is the code name. This is nothing but code name, and this is my field name, because wherever we have a spaces, it will be there. Otherwise, the same thing will come. I don't want to have it, so I wanted to have this way. So that is a configuration I have done it. Uh, this one I will be covering what and all it is. So basically, whenever we have these are the default return types what we have. See, suppose single line text, multi-line text, and all rich text and all. If anything is there, then it will return as string. Suppose if it's not finding anything, return type of the prop field type. Suppose if you look at here, so this is the field type, right? So based on the field type, that property related data type will be set. So if you for the single line text, if you look at here, the return type of this is string. Suppose for checkbox, for checkbox return type is bool. Let's look at this. I have one of the okay, so this is my this is my checkbox. So if you look at here, so this is my checkbox. So this is my checkbox, and this is my link, and this is my image. So for this, for checkbox I gave bool, and for return type for the link it is link, and for this is an image. So based for the checkbox, the return type is bool, and for the image, basically it is extended image. I don't want extended image. I just wanted basic image for the media thing. I just gave the image. So we can also configure this one. So this is where we can even customize everything, and we can do it. So as I said here, so now we have it. Sometimes for the fields like drop link, multi-list, and drop field, we usually generate with a grid, but I don't want grid. I wanted something specific of my return type of the this one. So suppose if you look at here, I have a this header. Okay, so this is my header navigation, where I have some of the this is the multi-list, and this multi-list using all the fields under this one. So this one, what and the all the things which is there, this is my data source of this multi-list. So what and all what this main navigation looks like, if you look at here, uh, so if you look at main navigation, so if you look at the main navigation, it is a multi-list. So that is the reason it is giving GUID. Suppose if you look at this, actually this is a dropping. That is why we are seeing a GUID. In case if you wanted to have a return type as a same attribute, like same property, then we can able to use it. Why we have to use it? Suppose if you have a GUID, what would be there? So as a return type, when you read this field, you will get all the list of the GUIDs, and again you have to get item of that ID, and then read the values and all. You have to do it, which is like a looping. We have to do it, which is like performance impact. Suppose if you have the return type as it is, whenever it is reading, it is trying to read based on that return type, and it's a simple one line of code, dot get item. If you do it, it will try to get all the items. So there is no need of looping of all the items in the multi-list. So that with a one line of code, you can able to do that, which would save or improve our code performance of when we implementing this. So what I have do here, so if you look at here, so this is my return type. So if you look at here, so I'll just check what is this in my, because I want this as my return type for my multi-list thing, right? So so if you look at here, so this is we have to use a we have to use a template name. So if you look at the template, I have actually copied the item. So this is my template. So so if you look at here, this is the template. So this is the item which we created. If you look at here, I missed covering one more point. So suppose if you look at here, so this is my header. So in the header, it is trying to use all the items that is present here. Okay. So what is the template of this header? So we have to take the template type, not the item type. So even for that level 1 links, which is actually using, this is the type that is actually using. We want this as the return type for this multi-list. So this is what I link. So I link is my return type that I wanted to have it. So that is what we have to uh, do the necessary changes. So for that, what we have to do, whenever so this is what so what I do, I just make this copy of this. So I want this as a return type of IEnumerable. Okay. And for what we are actually making the return type for the main navigation, which is our uh, multi-lists. For this, I wanted to alter the return type. So for that, what we have to do, we have to copy this type. Okay. Let's come here. Sorry, coming to the Leprechaun file. I already have this field name. Okay, so I have already have this. So this is the field name of that main navigation. I'll just show you here. So you have to read the field name. What is the field name? For that field name, I wanted as a ilink as my return type, right? So I gave as iLevel link. So you can give any name. Okay. Once if you do it, so what it does, whenever it is trying to convert for any field with this one, consider this as a return type. And then this return type, which is present here. Okay. So whenever you suppose if it's like the name which I gave here, right? I just, sorry, I'm saving it here. Just I gave here. So this is my uh, like case, it's a kind of switch case. It basically uses whenever I finding this case, then return type of this is IEnumerable of iLeveling. So this is what we have to do. So basically we have to give the field name that we wanted to change to a different data type, and you have to give any name of your choice, and then you have to come to the class mapper. In the switch case of this, you have to explicitly mention what and you wanted to have it here. So whenever you run it, so once if this changes is done, it's for this there is no need to pull the changes here, because we have not done anything related to the Sitecore level. We have done in the configuration level only here. So I just pin it. So if you see here, navigation which is present iGrid, right? Sorry. So if you look at here, it actually became the return type of high level. Suppose if you miss giving the here, so sometimes what would happen, you may give incorrect name, or you instead of this you gave something else. So I gave one, like 11 1. Okay, but what we have, the return type is actually level 1 link. Okay, if I run it now, what would happen? So if you see here, this has become to string. Because why it has become string, it is trying to check for the field. This is the field type. For this, it is trying to create a property. It is trying, we are mentioning that we have to saying that just check for this one. In the glass mapper, it is not able to find anything with this name. So that is the reason it is actually generating string. Why it is only generating string? Because if you look at the switch case, nothing it has found with level 1. So default whatever we are writing is string. So that is where we can easily troubleshoot and how it is actually generating, so that okay, based on that you can able to update the configuration files according to that. Now when I just move that back, uh, so this actually switch back to the data type that we wanted to have it. So if you look at more detail in this, okay, suppose I have, so why we have to do with the naming. So suppose I have a different field. Suppose if I have some example, so I have these number of fields where I want item as a return type for this. So if you give different names, so this switch cases for this will increase a lot. So instead of that, if we can have single thing, if we can, if you feel that set, if you want a setco dot item data dot item, if you want it as a return type, in that case just give item and then just give it here. So one naming or what are the return type, that is sufficient for everything. Like I give so instead of giving level 1, level 2, level 3, so it would increase the field size here. Also it will increase the conditions here. So instead of that, if you feel the return types are same, and if it is return types are common, but here you have to make it different entry. But what is the type that you gave, based on the case, it will give the return type as that particular one. Suppose if you have a file, it will throw as a file. Suppose if you look at here, for these all these types, we have given that as a string here, like that. So like that we have to mention, and we have to set up this configuration according to that. Okay, so with these changes, what we can do, we can able to set up. Suppose sometimes we may not have I enumerable. Suppose if you only have, uh, just suppose you don't want to have it enumerable just like this, you can still give like this whatever you want, and then you can get it. So based on the need, a requirement, you can just configure or customize your return type of the properties here. Okay, so with this, what we were trying to achieve, so though we with this we don't need to do any kind of multiple looping throughs, reading the values in the multi-list or drop list and all. With the directly with one line of code, we can able to get the specific data specific to that particular field. Okay, that's all I have. Any question? The floor is open. You can ask any questions that you have.
Okay. Yep. I can see some questions in the chat, so maybe we'll take some of them.
Yeah.
So, first question, like in case of any issue with Leprechaun, will Sitecore support team will consider it to provide any solution?
No, this is open source. So we have a separate Slack channel, and also you can use the Sitecore Stack Exchange for our any kind of questions. So we can do, even you can directly reach out to Blipson, that guy which I said, right? He's available in the Slack. He can help us. But yeah, now many people have actually used. You can post anywhere. People will help on the this one. But yeah, Sitecore doesn't support.
Okay. What's the max item size that Leprechaun can serialized?
There is no limit as such. It can see if you look at here. If you look at this navigation model, uh, because it actually have that model almost like 2000. Even we have in our current project, I am almost having like more than 10,000 lines or 20,000 of lines. It is still supporting, and there is no issue with that. And one more thing which I would like to add, though it is open source, you might not think anything related to the security purpose, because we are not checking in anything related to the Leprechaun related into our higher environments, like in the production or anything like that. Because whatever we are trying to do, it is whatever we are doing, that is only helping us to generating our models, that is completely using for our development. Our, there is nothing security related concerns or anything like that, because what are the files that is we have, it is not required to deploy also. These and all the files which we checked, that is are completely for a development purpose. And however, for the models anyway, even if you generate normally also, even with you generate with the Leprechaun also, there is no change for the models. So model will be as is. So you no need to worry about anything related to the security, because we are not deploying any files or anything to the higher environments.
Okay. How does Leprechaun handle updates or changes in Sitecore templates? And what strategies are recommended to keep generated code in sync with Sitecore content changes?
So as I said, I have showed in the demo, right? Where I actually showed update and all. So using this command, as I said, whenever you are actually making some changes, you just need to sync that into YAML file, serialization files. So basically, set Leprechaun reads the YAML file for the code generation. Based on that only, it will try to generate it. As I said, some of the troubleshooting steps, whichever you face during that, you can still troubleshoot in that way. It would be easy. It's not tough. It's very simple tool once you started using it.
Okay. Next question. How to integrate Leprechaun into CI/CD pipelines for Sitecore DevOps?
Correct, but as I said, it is not required for
Yeah.
an AI environment. So this is
Hmm.
completely for our dev. So there
Yeah.
is no need to integrate in the CI/CD pipelines.
Yeah. Uh, in case of inheritance, where templates having same field names, how Leprechaun will generate the model code?
Uh, Inheritance. That's what I said, right? Suppose if you see here in this for the navigation. So here I'm not having anything for the header. So I'm actually using header table. This is my this one. So it's for that. That is the reason, as I said, we use underscores for our interface project. Suppose if you see here, we're actually using the underscores. If you look at the configuration here, uh, so here we are actually giving uh, keep leading underscores true. So if you give like that, so for whenever we are actually using the same names for our interface items, we are actually having the underscores, right? So whenever we wanted to have it, we will be having this underscores, and then we will be using that for our uh, model generation. Suppose if you look at here, I'll just show for one of this. I'll just take this name. So if you look at here, I have the header settings. I'm still using the same thing because I have the underscore I've allowed. By default, it is disabled everywhere, but I have made it enabled to have that same. Because I face the same issue when I'm migrating from TDS to this, so I actually converted this. I have updated this to true. This is how we can able to handle it. But
Okay.
yeah, ideally, same name should not be there. It may cause some issue.
Okay. Okay. Last question. Do every developers need to push this generated model file to repo, as every developer content is slightly different as they are working on different models?
Okay, so basically what we have to do, as with the using of Sitecore CLI and Leprechaun, we will always have the consistent content tree. Basically here, content will change with from person to person, whereas these files for templates and all will be consistent for all the developers. So whenever you are some new developer, like other developer is actually taking any kind of new work, obviously they will take the latest code and they have to sync the code. So once they have synced the code and they have the latest code available in there, so whenever they're generating the code for the Leprechaun, he will have what and all we already synced and generated for the existing features. So it won't hamper those existing projects. What and all the changes that we are doing specific to our features will only have the change. So he will do that particular change, and that particular model only will get updated and he has to do this. But whenever you look at here, uh, it's gone now. Okay, if you look at here, when you're generating here, it will try to touch base of all the projects that I have. So if you look at here, navigation, page content, and text model. Suppose if there is any inconsistency of the templates and all between the developers, then definitely there would be a issue when you are merging it. Uh, but it's always good, even whether you're working with Leprechaun or with anything, you always better to have the latest code or anything to be available in your local before starting up any new feature or anything new story while working.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Sudhir. I think those were the questions.